Right. Professional pre-speaking cough there. Hi guys, and welcome to Red Dwarf TV. Remember to subscribe to our YouTube channel for Red Dwarf news, exclusive interviews, and podcasts and more. This is the Smegcast episode 16. Today we are discussing Red Dwarf Series 12 in its entirety and our hopes for Series 13. So be aware there's going to be spoilers in this one. Today I have with me Aøife.
Hello.
Geoff.
Hi there.
Rachel.
Hi.
And Matt.
Hi.
And obviously me, Bex Trista, here, as you can probably tell. So guys, what was your overall impression of Series 12?
I think, for me, as I said last week, when we were talking about episode 6 itself, where the whole series has had a bit of time to catch up, where there was such a massive break from the classic series and Back to Earth before they started series 10 and 11. And they've had that time now with 10 and 11 to actually get back into the swing of things and get used to it. And from that, they've come up with some really, really good material and some fantastic directing and production. So, yeah, I've just loved the series so far. It's been absolutely fantastic.
Geoff?
Yeah, I can't really add to that. I think it's Red Dwarf back on form, back to where it was at the peak of where it was in the 90s, in all honesty. And there's only been the 1 week episode from this series, but otherwise we've had 5 absolutely amazing episodes.
Yeah, I have to agree. I can't put anything else to that more, because the guys they've just basically said what it is. You know, it's been absolutely amazing. Yeah, fantastic. Enjoyed every minute.
Same for you, Matt?
Yeah, like it's already been said, we've only had the 1 week episode, and apart from that, 5 absolute belters. Like it's already been said, it took them a while, series 10, getting back with each other, and I think the fact that series 11 and 12 were filmed one after the other, just straight through, has helped them with the group dynamic and getting back on form with each other, how they bounce off each other and all the gags and everything.
Yeah, good chemistry going on between the guys, I think, in this series, and
exactly.
Definitely they've gone through a bit of a warm-up to get back to it, but it's yeah, I think that was a good advantage to doing a lot of back-to-back filming, because it meant that people could really get on a roll with the writing and the performing and directing and so forth. So it was I think it's one of my favourite series in a very, very long time. And another regular podcaster we have on here would be Mary, but she was the one person who disagreed with everybody else who've ever watched Red Dwarf, because she thought that Mechocracy was the weakest episode, and yeah, she thought the whole the No Criticism episode, the name of which has temporarily slipped my brain.
Time Wave,
thank you very much. I forget, because the time wave was so irrelevant to the plot that I keep forgetting that's the name of the episode. It's only mentioned like twice in the whole thing. But yeah, she thought that Time Wave was actually really, really good, and she thought Mechocracy was the one poor episode, which I told her she was wrong about, obviously. Yeah, I think it's been pretty unanimous with everyone I've spoken to that it's back on form, and they're 5 out of 6, whichever ones you wanna deem are those 5 out of 6 are completely top notch. How do you guys think it ranks up? I'm guessing you guys think it's pretty much back on form with series kind of 1 to 8.
Yeah, I'd definitely say so. It's just got that sense of direction and meaning, and yeah, all the references are there. It just feels fully fledged out, and when I think it's a common thing often with comedy series and sitcoms is if there's a break, when they try and get back into the flow of things, it does take a bit of time for them to get up to the standard they were at before, where, like you said, they have to get used to each other again and how they bounce off each other. So the fact that they've got to that stage now is wonderful, and it just makes you fall in love with it like you did when you watched the classic series.
Geoff, are you filled with nostalgia that this is the new series 1?
Yeah, I mean, series 4 and 5 for me were the absolute pinnacle of it. Series 8 I thought was one that came very close, but as I said just now, I think we're back on form. Series 12 has just been great episode after great episode. I'm going to surprise you a little though, Bex, because I enjoyed Time Wave and I thought Mechocracy was the weak one. But yeah, sorry.
I found it the same way, actually. I think just because the Mechocracy had a little bit, it sort of promised a bit too much for me, and the fact that there was the whole when they had been put into their mech bodies, having to go through, and the way it was done, and it was I feel a really slow pace to it, and there wasn't really much happening. Like, yeah, they were trying to get past it and get out of it and get back to their original bodies. But the fact that they had a no criticism episode, which I think relates back to, I can't remember the episode off the top of my head, but a previous episode when I think it was, I think it's been done a few times before, but with Rimmer having to be honest and genuinely kind. I think maybe harking back to the Karma Drive from, I believe, Series 11, and having the dichotomy there of Rimmer being the most unpleasant person and having to try and be pleasant enough in a genuine way to allow everyone to escape. The fact that it didn't have that kind of weight to it in Mechocracy, but then Time Wave did have that dynamic of everything going on from there, and Rimmer being in an environment where he would struggle to do anything right, and the casting of Johnny Vegas in that as well for the bit part, I think makes that stand out for me.
Yeah, okay, so I've gone from being in the firm majority to slowly moving into the minority. I feel this is turning into far too much of a democracy here. But yeah, the general sort of consensus online and by the critics and so forth was that Time Wave was the weakest, which was the way I did feel, much as I disagree with agreeing with the masses. I did feel that, but M Corp was my favourite one. I think M Corp, Mechocracy, and Siliconia, with the all being turned into droids, were the standouts. I think, for me. But yeah, I think it was very much harking back to being as good as very early series is, and things. But yeah, my favourite ones were definitely probably going to be M Corp. What did you guys make on that? What was your favourite episode? All out.
I think mine would probably have to be the finale, because I found with the finale of Series 11 as well that the way it was written and the way it tied everything off to end the series is just pure gold. And like when in Series 11 we had Rimmer finding out that he wasn't the son of his supposed father, and that being presented in a sort of spoof Star Wars style, that I found amazing and pure quality. And then the same again with having Holly return and Rimmer not being able to find any alternate realities where he was comfortable. That just really hits it on the nail and finishes off the series in the best way possible to me. So that's why I would say the
Skipper for you.
Last episode, Skipper, yeah.
Yeah, harking back again. I hadn't even spotted that, but you're right. Rimmer-centric episodes as finales is becoming a bit of a thing. What about you, Geoff? What was your favourite episode of this series?
I'd probably have to go with Skipper as well, in all honesty. I did like my M-Core as well. And Siliconia, I think, was one of my favourites as well, but I think Skipper was the highlight of the whole series.
Yeah, they spent all their money on Siliconia, highest budget episode since the beginning of the Dave era, and it's nobody's favourite, unless, Rachel, it's your favourite.
Yeah, I was just going to say, it's definitely my favourite.
Money well spent.
Definitely, yeah.
Yeah, what about you, Matt? What was your favourite one of this series?
While I did like Siliconia and M-Corp, and I've liked all of them really, but I've got to go with Geoff and Aøife on this. Skipper, there was all the right elements there and all the right timing, and while I did like the other episodes, there's always been something not exactly right about them. You know, it's nothing specific. It's just kind of feeling. You know, you can give them 95% kind of thing, but Skipper was just, like I said, on the nail.
So they saved the best for last for you guys then.
Definitely.
Yeah. Did you guys have a favourite gag or guest cameo for this season?
I think it'd probably be Johnny Vegas, because I find him a funny comedian, so and I like his style. So to bring him in and have him playing the role that he did, and the sort of relationship between him and I believe it was the captain of that vessel, the very camp and flamboyant one, who again was fabulously acted, to have that relationship and that character being portrayed by someone as well known and as well liked as Johnny Vegas made him probably the best guest cameo. Although if I were talking about someone from previous series, it would definitely be Norman Lovett.
Yeah, I think that's going to be pretty universal. Geoff, did you have a favourite gag this series?
I'd have to go back and rewatch them all to start pulling out the individual gags. What I was going to say about the cameos were, even though we knew Holly was going to come back, Norman Lovett has obviously made no secret about the fact that he was coming back into it. What really put a smile on my face was seeing Hollister in the last episode as well. Mac McDonald portraying him again. I thought, yeah, that's a surprise. That was nice to see him again. I've got to be honest, I loved the nice guy Hitler in the first episode as well.
Hitler guitar jamming. Yes, I never thought I'd ever be on a podcast discussing the merits of Hitler's guitar skills. That was a very, very surreal moment. What about you, Matt and Rachel? You got favourite cameo or gag for this series?
It's got to be Johnny Vegas. Yeah, I just it just fits in so perfectly in the pink suit and everything. Yeah, pink policeman Johnny Vegas, brilliant.
Are you going with the same, Matt, or are you going to side with me and not pick Johnny Vegas?
No, I'm dancing out the row again. Like as Geoff said, Norman Lovett. He's been out of it too long, I think, personally. And I think a lot of fans will agree with me on that he's just missing from it.
Yeah, definitely.
Either Holly would be awesome to have back, because interacting with the computer is good.
Brilliant. But, my favourite gag of the whole series, the one that had me absolutely rolling on the floor in stitches, was the dialogue between Rimmer and Holly, portraying the original episode, the end, with the twist that it's not Lister. It's
Nobody's dead.
Everybody is dead.
Yeah, that was great.
Yeah, I think he's the only person that could really deliver that line. He had to be the one to re-deliver it in the reverse. That was quite a lovely moment.
We could see Hattie Hadridge back maybe in future, because I believe Norman Lovett's a bit older than her, so maybe when it gets to a point where he's no longer able to come back, if they do bring Holly back in, they might bring Hattie back.
It would be nice to have Hattie. I've met her a few times. I got to be part of an interview of her, which is also up on Red Dwarf TV. Plug. And she's absolutely lovely, and it would be nice to see her back as the ditzy computer senile computer, because both Hollies were awesome in their own ways. They were so different. Yeah. I mean, I'd like to have both of them back, really, to have one as the computer and one as the alternate dimension backup computer, and some kind of a timey-wimey crossovery paradox thing. I think it'd be awesome to have both of them back in an episode.
One on Red Dwarf and one on Starbug.
Yeah, exactly. Or one in one of the watch units, or in Crichton's tummy that's occasionally a screen for no reason type things. Like especially in the American Red Dwarf, I think they did that. Yeah, I think they could do a lot with that. I think one of my favourite gags of the series is actually a really, really small one, and it was this mechanoid is reversing. I don't know why I love that so much. That, or the expression on Cat's face when he's doing the shoe shining in Skipper. Because I was trying to figure out, because that's on the intro sequence and was in the trailers, is that little shoe shine bit with his gleeful face. Yeah. And I could not figure for the life of me how they'd get there. So seeing how they worked that in was cool. Oh no, I've changed my mind. I've immediately changed my mind. I'm replacing this mechanoid as reversing with the invisible can of beer in M Corp.
Yeah. With
the cheap gag of the... Yeah, clearly he's just got a tube up his sleeve.
Yeah.
That was gold. And even if it's not your favourite episode because you're wrong, that bit was definitely gold. So the new seasons, we've got the crew's been taken down to just the boys from the Dwarf, just the 4. You guys have mentioned wanting to bring back a Holly. Are you happy with it just being the 4, or maybe 4 and a Holly, or do you want other people to come back?
I think it'd be nice to maybe have more of Captain Hollister, maybe Todd Hunter, people like that. So you've got a bit more weight and a bit more harking back to the classic series, because I think the classic series are what people most fondly think of when they think of Red Dwarf. So something like that, perhaps. And I think it's quite good where, like when Chris went off for a bit and they had Chloe Anna in for Christine Kachansky, I found that a bit sad, because I think Rimmer's probably my favourite character. So to have him gone for so long and then come back with no real explanation of how he's a humanoid, because the fact that he left and the nanobots reconstructed Red Dwarf as it would be from the crew that was on Starbug, it seemed like there was a little bit of a plot hole to me there.
I think there's quite a few. They've mentioned Rimmer as dying as more than once, so I think there's the implication that at some point between series the humanoid Rimmer managed to get himself bumped off again due to incompetence. But there's so much timey-wiminess going on now with this series. I'm using Doctor Who terms. That's naughty, isn't it? There is so much confusing paradoxes, otherwise known as plot holes, that I think they've got to the point now where that they can use it to their advantage, and they can just have Lister be good at guitar for an episode, and people turn up and then vanish again. And I think as long as they keep using that in a good way for the sense of better gags, I think it's okay. What about you, Geoff? Do you want a Kachansky to come back, or a Hollister, or someone else?
I'd love to see Kachansky back. However, I would like to see C.P. Grogan doing it. Chloe Annette, she's an absolute star as well. I met her at a Comic-Con a couple of years ago. She was really, really nice to meet. When she came on board, she obviously took a lot of criticism for the fact that she was on there because Chris Barry had left. And I thought her character was a lot better in Series 8. And Series 8 had had a massive cast to it because it was all in the tank. Yeah, I'd love to see Holly back, of course. I'd like to see a Kochanski back, but I think I'd probably prefer to see Claire Grogan back as Kochanski.
Or at least as, even if we brought back Chloe, maybe having her act as this universe Kochanski.
Yes.
Because I think a lot of people's criticism wasn't necessarily the change in actress, but more the change in the character's writing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Rachel, who do you want to see in the next series?
Definitely Norman Lovett. Yeah. Gotta come back. Just has to come back. Can't just have one little snippet and then just take it away from us again. No chance.
You feel teased.
I do. Yeah, I feel deprived.
We'll get on Twitter and start begging. I'm sure we'll be like, there'll be thousands of people doing it.
The more the merrier.
Yeah.
What about you, Matt? Who do you think should join the boys, or do you think it should stay just with the 4?
It's a hard one, I think, because the way they've been doing it this and last series with just the 4 of them, it has worked out. I wasn't sure how it, whether not having a Holly there, or not having anybody there, whether it be a Holly or a Kochanski or anybody else, would leave too much of a hole. And while it has worked, it's still missing.
Yeah.
Just the 4 of them, the chemistry works, but the other characters that we had in series 1 to 8, be it Captain Hollister or Holly or Kochanski or anybody else, to not lighten the mood, but to add depth to the characters. And see how they interact with other people rather than just the 4 of them. It's been missing a little.
They've got a little bit insular, you think. I mean, it's been very purist Red Dwarf in some ways, but also they have got, there's no one to kind of counterpoint them, I guess, as there have been before. Yeah, I think for me, either Kochanski played as original, quite cocky Kochanski rather than terrified, neurotic Kochanski would be pretty high up there as someone to bring back. Hollister I like as doing cameos, and he's such a fabulously funny actor. There's an interview with him on the channel already, and he's just a funny guy in real life. He just can't help it. I think possibly for me, I would like more Toaster. I think we didn't get quite enough Toast in this series.
Good to see him again, though.
Oh, sorry.
It was good to see him again, though.
It was. I mean, I don't even eat bread, and I still like being asked if I want toast.
Would you like to be asked it 355,000 times a day, though?
Well, maybe I would, or maybe I just think Rimmer deserves to be asked that many times a day. They could just use him as a way to interrogate any rogue symbionts and things that come in. Just put you in this room. They'd be like, what, in this room with this toaster? And they'd be like, yes, just sit here with this toaster. And in 4 hours' time, you'll tell us where all the treasure is. And they'd be like, oh, no. 20 minutes later, they'd be like, please, kill me. Feed me toast, then kill me. I don't even eat. I'm a symbiont, but kill me after he fed me toast. So yeah, I think very much as I would love also to see more of either Holly. I really liked Talkie Toaster, and I think that it would be really good to have him back as a regular character. There was a rumor, I can't remember who said it. It might actually have been the first guy that played Toaster, that there was once a rumor of a plot line being written where the Toaster got plugged into Red Dwarf and managed to take over Holly and take over the computer system. So the Toaster was running the ship. And
that sounds a great story.
It would be interesting.
Amazing.
Personally, I found the Toaster character quite detestable with the constant going on. Although it was humorous, I think where they've written him in there, they're not sort of sticking to old stock. They're bringing in new aspects to it while still keeping the originality. So it's still got the same character. They're not changing the writing of it like they've done with Christine Kochanski, but at the same time they're putting him in new situations. So it's not like he's in the dorm as he was in the first few series, and then he's not being used for intelligence compression again or another experiment by Crichton. There's always a new situation.
Yes, I think the other thing I might like to see is a character to bring back, although it's not technically bringing her back because she didn't actually exist, was there was an alternate version of Kat in the second American pilot, which was played by Terry Farrell, who was Jadzia Dax in DS9, who played the sort of super overconfident, aggressive Cat rather than she was also quite fashion conscious, but she was a very different Cat, and I'd almost like to see that Cat come back into our version and have her as a counterpoint to our Cat. So the only other Cat they can find, because there's a whole spaceships of cats that we don't know whether or not we know the first spaceship went into the sun, but the second spaceship arc, that could have gone anywhere. So I like the idea that they find, like another few cats, and the only cat that comes on the ship, they can find the only female cat in the universe that's not just, an evil alien pretending to be one, as at the end of the last series. But if they could
get that actress back, actually, that'd be nice.
We could try and get Terry Farrell back, and she could be not interested in our cat, so he could have the only other cat in the universe. So the only one of them that could possibly procreate, because obviously Crichton can't, Lister can't, Rimmer's dead. So Cat could have a female cat who wasn't interested, and I think that might be a pretty awesome way to run through a series.
Not even if you were the last cat in the universe.
Oh, you are. Oh dear. Your race is now going to be extinct, and not for the same reason as Lister's. And I think that might have been quite awesome. So yeah, loads of possibilities I think they could do for the next series there. The other thing that we've got at the moment is that the episodes are all slightly sort of shorter than they used to be, and they're definitely shorter than I think they could have been, because there's lots of rumours that these episodes had to 10 minutes cut out of each of them. Do you think they should have all the feature-length versions of these when it comes out on Blu-ray?
I think it'd be nice, yeah, because I found myself having got the box set of 1 to 8 with just the episodes in there, and then having to sort of traipse around to try and find Smeg outs and Smeg ups. It would be nice to have a lot more content there, so maybe things such as interviews with them during the series, like I think they've done before, for each series done a documentary on it, so something like that, those kind of styles of interviews, to get an idea of how the writers and executive producers and everything approached each series, and maybe like an interview with Norman Lovett saying why he only came back for the one bit, things like that.
Yeah, so more than just the extra 10 minutes, you want lots of extra special features and stuff with it. Geoff, I believe you've managed to sneak back into our call after vanishing. Do you want to see feature-length versions of everything they cut out, put back in on Blu-ray?
Yeah, I managed to get back in. My internet cut out when we were recording it. I'm on the phone now instead of the computer. Well, in a word, yeah, I would.
Yeah, because they definitely said that they cut quite a lot out of some of these episodes. What about you, Rach? Do you think they should be feature-length versions of everything possible?
Yeah, I do, because 10 minutes is a lot to cut out of an episode. You're missing out on so much of 10 minutes. I definitely agree what's been said. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like losing half a series almost if that was 10 minutes an episode.
It's not on. You need to bring it back.
Yeah, we demand more Dwarf. Same for you then, Matt? More Dwarf all round?
Definitely. I mean, on a Blu-ray, there's a few that I've seen before, you know, with like extended cuts and whatever, just as a director's version, so that you can chop and change as you like on the same DVD.
They did the same with Back in the Red, didn't they? They gave you the option of watching the TV aired version or the full length versions. Yeah, because those cuts must exist somewhere, and I'm really curious to know if we ever got to see, you know, what's behind the door and the alternate reality that Rimmer just goes nope, and what are all the extra gags. A rumored completely different ending for was it Time Wave? I think they said, where there was a whole extra sequence.
It was Time Wave, because they were on about actually having done something to the drives. I think it was.
Oh, okay.
Rather than them just disappearing, you know, being run off the ship.
Because it ends quite abruptly, that one. It's quite a, you know, we've run out of time almost ending. So I would be really intrigued to know if that would, especially if that might change my opinion of that episode. Maybe those 10 minutes were crucial. So we definitely want more Dwarf overall for this series. Out of 5 stars, looking at series 12 as a whole, what do you guys give it?
6.
I personally would give it a 5 out of 5, because it is just so on the money, and they've completely got back into the swing of things. Like I said many times before, it is so reminiscent of the classical series, and that, I think, is the highest point in its career, the classical series, and the fact that this has now got on form and got to that standard and that familiarity. It just makes it so easily enjoyable and watchable and likable that people can just lose themselves in it and have an absolute ball watching it. So definitely 5 out of 5 for me.
Awesome, very strong score there. Geoff, are you in the 5 out of 5 club?
It's going to drop a point for me for Megocracy, but otherwise it's going to be 4 out of 5, which is still a strong score in my opinion.
Yeah, that's still pretty good. Rach, what about you? You said 6, if I remember you shouting out earlier.
Yes, I know. I do apologise for that. But definite 5 out of 5. 6, if that's possible.
6. We'll have to ask the Red Dwarf editing gods if 6 out of 5 is possible, just for you. But I like your enthusiasm, if lack of math skills. Obviously, you do the same exams as Rimmer. How about you? Are you 5 out of 5 as well?
5 Smegs out of 5.
Yeah, I think I'm going to go for 4.5 out of 5 because I'm pedantic and I can, and that is at least out of 5, Rachel. But I think that's a solid score overall for Series 12, which is awesome stuff. Looking forward to Series 13. We've already talked a bit about some of the characters we'd like to come back and some plot points. Is there anything you definitely think they should do with an episode or a plot next series?
Oh, that's a tough one. I think they could maybe go into a bit more character explanation, because I think they said for either Series 10 or Series 11 that they were going to explore the cat's love life a bit more, and I felt they didn't quite achieve that. It was sort of very brief in the final episode.
Well, and it wasn't with other cats either.
Yeah, exactly. So I think maybe fulfilling that promise and giving more depth, like maybe like you were saying before about having them going to a alternate reality where we've got that actress who played that polymorph as the cat, as another cat a few series ago, as the cat in an alternate dimension or something like that.
Because she was quite fun.
Yeah, exactly. So I think to have that kind of dynamic and to explore that more, but it to actually be a cat and not just an entity pretending to be one, I think that would give more depth to it. So yeah, just building up more of the characters, because I think, like has been said before, Rimmer has been the central feature of the past 2 series finales. So to have that kind of exploration and that depth with all the other characters in succession will just bring a bit more to it. That I think with the levity of how long Red Dwarf's been going on for, it would give that depth to it, and therefore allow for a more plot opportunities and more understanding of the characters for later on. So maybe something like Lister when he was working as a supermarket trolley attendant and left because he didn't want to get tied down to a job, something like that.
Yeah, we did used to get a lot more looks into their pasts and things as well.
Yeah, I think that would be nice to see again.
Partly, I think, because a lot of the characters spent a lot more time just sitting still in the early series because they had no other sets to go to. So they were forced to sit very still and kind of do it more through dialogue. So they explored a lot more of the pastings, especially the episode where Lister put some of his love life memories into Rimmer. And you got to see some of Lister's past sort of reenacted, or some of it with Rimmer and so forth. And that, I think those were quite telling and quite good examples of character exploration. Plus Ace Rimmer being the opposite of Rimmer is another example of lots of Rimmer
definitely exploration. We need more Ace. Everyone needs more Ace.
Awesome. Geoff, what would you like to see them do plot wise in the next series?
I was thinking actually what might be fun is it might be fun to see how Deb and Arlene are doing. Because we haven't seen them since series 2. I know Angela Bruce has gone on to be quite a big actress now, but I think it might be fun to dip into their world again and see exactly what the what that Red Dwarf is up to these days.
It's an interesting idea. So returning over to that. Well, I mean, they've got a. Oh, did they jumped up and down on the dimension skipper at the end of Skipper? Did they break it?
Yes, Rimmer pulverized it with his foot.
Yes, that was the one. They need. I'm sure they don't care about continuity. It's completely possible. Rachel, what about you? What do you think the next good idea for a bit of plot would be?
To be honest, I'm really not sure. Yeah, I'm a bit stumped on this one, I'm afraid.
We've already given it 6 out of 10, so I'm assuming you're happy with whatever.
Yeah, anything you throw up is fine.
They can't really go wrong at this point, assuming they stay in space and not in our reality.
Yeah.
What about you, Matt? Is there something you'd love to see them do?
Well, we've kind of touched on this before, and think it was in Smegcast 13, when we talked about various possibilities for the hyperdrive that would have been possible out of what was that?
Is this the hyperdrive that the nanobots recreated, or
no? Sorry, guys.
We'll give you a second. That's what editing's for.
In the alternate reality with the not being negative.
Oh, in Time Wave?
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, we touched upon it before when in the Smegcast about Time Wave, where we said about the hyperdrive that they could have upgraded Red Dwarf rather than being, scarpered off of the ship. That there was a multitude of opportunities within that one slightly different ending that they could have done. So something along the lines of another episode of actually getting back to Earth, which we've had quite a few of, admittedly. Not in this series, but in previous series, where they've got back to different versions of Earth from different times, of course.
Yeah, they've never quite got the knack of getting back to the right one at the right time.
Yeah. Something like Stasis Leak would be nice again.
Yeah, something that's kind of fun and good but has no consequences overall. I think that's generally how sitcoms work, isn't it? It's like The Simpsons. The entire world can change and everything can blow up and things, and then everything's back to normal and we're all sitting on the sofa again at the end. And that's very much how the genre works. So I think that gives them a lot of freedom that they could do, something crazy when they went back to Earth again. I'm still very, very cat-centric, I have to say. And I'm going to add to my finding another cat and having a cat dynamic with the only cat in the universe won't date our cat. And what if they got back to Earth and the other cat ship had figured out that Fushao was Fiji and they found the entire Earth is now populated with cats? I think that could be an interesting episode, because they'd get all the way back there and find that the entirety of Earth had been turned into a giant shopping mall and just leave.
Cat be happy.
The ultimate kind of, well, he'd just probably be jealous of everyone else's wardrobes and things. Maybe they'd all just look at it and go, nope. And Cat would be like, nope, too much competition. And they'd all just sod off again. It could be quite an interesting way of getting them back to Earth, but without changing anything at all about what's going on.
I mean, Cat always had his own way of looking at fashion anyway, so maybe their fashion is further on and he's just hopelessly outdated.
Oh, yes, because he obviously can't get any more suits. Maybe he'd turn up and they'd look at him like we would look at the Victorians. And maybe they would all ostracize him because he was not wearing this season's fashion. I hadn't even thought of that.
He's the cat version of Rimmer.
Yes. Oh my God, that would be amazing.
Or
he was too intelligent and badly dressed.
Or there could be a simple thing like all the humans on planet Earth have moved to a new planet Earth, and they've left a note that's something like "gone out for milk back when the universe ends" or something like that. So they get there expecting everyone to be there, Earth to be perfect and fine and happy, and it's like, oh, popped out for the mo. See you later.
That's a very almost Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy gag. I think that would work quite well. Yeah, there's so much they could do, and they've not really given much away yet. But I know that they've already written some of the episodes for the next series, so it would be utterly amazing if perhaps they're listening to our humble podcast and they like Red Dwarf TV, and maybe they think they want to use some of our ideas, and we don't even.
That would be nice, yeah.
Don't even want the money, we just want to see them, and I just want to see a planet entirely populated of cats, apparently. I swear I must have mentioned that on another podcast. It's starting to become a trend. But generally, I think we can all agree that the next series is going to be awesome. And out of 10, because I've decided to change the scale, just because, out of 10, how hyped are you for Series 13?
Based on the quality of Series 12, definitely 10. Can't wait.
Geoff, how are you?
Just because it's been building and building from Back to Earth Series 10, 11, 12, and now 13. It's getting better and better. Yeah, 10.
Rachel, should I assume you're 11 out of 10?
Yes, you can assume that, but I'll go for 10.
Awesome. Matt, how about you?
Definitely 10. There's so much to build on. There's so many opportunities. It's going up and up.
Absolutely. And I'm going to have to agree. I am also 10 out of 10 hype for Series 13. I can't wait. I almost want them to make more episodes per season. It's so good now that 6 episodes just doesn't feel like enough anymore.
Can I ask as well?
Yeah.
What's going on about Series 13? What's happening with? I know there were plans at one point for stage shows. Are they still doing that?
I haven't heard this.
Neither have I.
There was supposed to be Series 13, and following that, a live country tour on stage.
Yeah,
that would be awesome. Because they're so
that would
when
be
you
a
see
gift.
Them live in panels. You see them all bouncing off each other and things. Every time I've seen them do, like at Comic-Con, do the panels, then they're absolutely great live as a team. So, now I'm 11 out of 10, the same as Rachel.
She's joined the club.
Yes, who needs maths?
Exactly.
Absolutely awesome. And on that note, I think that we can now.
Holly definitely doesn't.
Fine. Well, yes. Well, I have an IQ of equal to Holly's. Maybe 4 PE teachers in my regard, but I think that we can go and pine for Series 13 until that's aired from this point on. Thank you, everyone, for listening. This is Red Dwarf TV. Please subscribe if you would like to hear interviews and reviews and exclusive Red Dwarf news from us. So from me and from everyone else, we're going to say goodbye. Bye.
Goodbye.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.
I'm vaping, that's me.
I wasn't sure. I was like, we were making some gags about the inflatable girlfriend here, and I could hear a definite.
No, I'm too poor to afford one of those either.
Not for those terrified of balloons. Okay, I think we are recording again. Has everybody returned?
I'm here.
I'm here, yep.
Matt and Rach, are you here? Matt and Rach, are you here? Make a sign if you're in the room. I need a Ouija board. Skype is very much like, talking to people from the afterlife. I find you sort of look at weird random squares on your screen and see if pointers move and things light up.
I knew I'd seen this somewhere before. It's Most Haunted.
It is. Matt, Rach, come back. Come back, I want to go to bed. Matt, Rach, come back. Back to the subject in hand. Same thing again, pretty much, although I'm going to reverse the order you answer the questions in.
So I'm first then.
Yeah, so we'll have Aøife, Geoff, Mary, and then Matt.
Awesome.
It's probably the first time I've ever let you go last, Matt.
Yes.
It won't last. We'll just do intro.
No.
Are you quite finished, Rachel? Today I have with me Aøife.
Hello.
Geoff.
Hi there.
Mary.
Rachel.
Oh my god. Edit. Where did that come from? I shall do that line again.
Good.
I'm so sorry, Rach.
That's why I like him as opposed to just
Hello.
hating him because he. Hello.
Oh, have we lost someone?
I think we lost quite a bit.
Oh, James, can you...
I heard everything.
Ah.
Okay, so we've got you two. Have we lost a Geoff? Geoff? I believe we have lost a Geoff.
Are we
James,
going to...
Is that something that can be fixed quickly, James?
James says, hang on.
Well, this is definitely going in the outtakes.
Smeg outs or Smeg ups?
I think Smeg out because the call's just sort of fallen out with itself.
Okay, it looks like we might have lost Geoff. Sorry, Geoff. But I've still got everyone else, right?
Yep, definitely got me.
I'm not here.
We're not here.
Well, we're talking about literally rather than just mentally there, so you are here, Rach.
Oh, God.
I'm so funny. I'm really not. I've totally also merged some of these questions together as well. Right. Slightly lost my place.
We're now up to rumours that many episodes had up to 10 minutes cut down to meet the time restrictions.
Well, I know vaguely where I am on my own Word document. The problem is that we started tangenting off into later questions into earlier ones, so now I have to figure out a way to segue. And not like the stupid wheeled machine, but like the original meaning of the word Segway. Yes. Thank you very much for coming on, guys. I hope you had fun.
You're welcome. Yeah, it was really good.
Oh, James is now saying they have possibly got dates for a live show in 2019.
Oh.
I know that what I'd heard was they were going to do it like along the lines of the Little Britain ones and the Bush Lives, so you'd get them turning up and doing that. So
awesome, cool. Well, thank you very much. I'm assuming that's all good, James. Awesome. Right, I'm gonna go and do the sleeping thing.
Snap.
We're so cool.
How moving!
Yeah, Monday night, couple of weeks before Christmas, I'm going to bed.
Stop being grimmers.
Oh yeah, 8 hours sleep. Yeah.
So rock and roll.
I'm very rock and roll. I have, I have plenty of dreams where I'm possibly rock and roll.
Well, rocking in a wheelchair, in a rocking chair, possibly. Yeah. But yeah.
Thank you for calling me out on my age. I've been watching Red Dwarf since before you were born, lad.
Yeah. Don't worry, Snap. There with you.
All right, guys, I'm going to head off. But thank you again. And I'm sure James appreciates and Mark appreciates you coming on this as well. So,
Very well.
Yeah, no problem at all.
Awesome. Take care, guys.
All right,
Yeah, you too.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.